Okay, I hope you're ready for the comeback. Steve Nash, I'm about to bring the sun back. Forecast looking bright for the comeback.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing a little bit about XC riding, cross country, what to look for. Basically, when we started racing, there was no real video out there on like what to look for, first time races, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the only upside we had is generally they'll answer your questions. All the other riders are quick to help each other out, so
yeah,
I mean,
so
they'll let you know.
This video is basically going to be an overview and a recap of if you're planning to do your first race in cross country, MX or GNCC, basically the fundamentals, just the basic stuff to look for, and our personal experience, first season and halfway into the second season of racing, just to kind of help you guys out if you're planning on racing, what to look out for, and hopefully a few tips and tricks to help you along the way.
Yeah.
So if you guys are not familiar, we race MOXC here in Michigan. We did the first year racing last year, and we learned
a lot. Luckily, they did some training camps and stuff that really prepared us. We kind of knew what we were going into before we ever stepped on the first track. And they were very clear, and the smartest thing, because I ended up crashing our very first race. I bent a tie rod, and then I ended up bending the whole arm.
Yep.
Most important thing you can do, take your time, especially first race. But generally, if you don't walk the tracks, you don't know them, take your time the first lap, because some stuff will come out and bite you. We got the video of Trevor clipping the tree last year because he just came in too hot and couldn't take the turn. Yeah. That he didn't know was there because it was the first lap.
Yeah. Basically not knowing how the race goes, first race of the first season. Again, we've never raced before. So yeah, we took it, off the start of the line. We were like way back because we had no idea what we were doing. Yeah. Now we're getting third and fourth into the first corner. We're getting up into there. Yeah,
we're doing quick off the line, and hole shot's a fun one to go to, but I'm quick to just back off after it. Well, once it's passed, of course, we're competing with the Banshees and, the 250Rs. Yeah. they definitely make a little more power than we do, and once they get in that power band, it's done.
Yep. And that comes to the first point, guys. The machines you want to race, it doesn't have to be the best of machines. It doesn't have to have the best equipment. We have warriors out there that are bone stock, placing third, fourth, fifth, even first or second in some of the classes. So it doesn't really matter what machine you bring. If you're comfortable with it, run it. If you want to do a few upgrades, go for it. But I mean, any stock machine, as long as you have a kill tether and just a few things to help along the way. Suspension is a big one. If you're going to do any first upgrade, suspension
is definitely your first thing. The other thing I'll say, as far as getting into upgrading your machine for it and everything, make sure you have time to get out and ride with it. Because I know that the first two races, that's the only times I rode this year after making all the changes I made, and it did not help. Yeah. There's a couple things I would have changed and done differently just because of what I learned just in the first race. Dropping down the tire size, I'm probably going to get rid of the skid plate on the back, go with something a little different. They'll still protect it, but not hang me up, because when I get hung up, most of the time it's on that skid plate.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, the other thing too is, besides like just basic upgrades on your quad, make sure you got good protection. Make sure you got a good helmet. Make sure you wear a chest protector.
Trevor.
Make sure you're wearing gloves. The clothing you're wearing, make sure you're comfortable in it. Don't wear anything that is going to make you uncomfortable during the race, because you have 2 hours.
Yeah.
And
at least 2 hours generally. They do 90 minutes, they flag it, and sometimes they don't flag it till the 2 hour mark. Our second race was 2.5 hours by the time it was all done and said for this year. But yeah, hydro pack is almost
definitely needed.
Yeah, I mean, the Trevor had a failed hydro pack. He ended up pitting every lap just to get a drink.
Yeah.
My hydro pack, I was missing a piece too on the second race, and yeah, it hurt. you'll start cramping up and whatnot, especially if you're not hydrated enough. And I made some bad decisions there because I didn't drink crap for fluid in the morning. I probably, and then I didn't have a hydro pack. So second race really hurt just in that aspect.
Yeah. And just make sure you're keeping up in shape. You don't have to be in the best of shape. You don't have to have six-pack abs or big muscles. Or just make sure you're healthy, guys. Keep up on cardio, because then again, you're moving around quite a lot. Even today, midway through races or after the race, I'm still cramping up. I drink plenty of water. I'm not eating a bunch of bad stuff, and I'm still cramping. I think I'm in okay shape.
You're in better shape than me, and I don't cramp up.
But then again, guys, everybody's different. Every single race, I cramp up. I cramp up real bad. So just make sure before the first race
to have your mustard.
Yeah, mustard. Mustard helps with my cramps. But before you go racing, guys, do a test. Do an hour riding, just straight up riding. See how you feel. If you feel good, go to an hour and a half. Do 2 hours. Make sure you're keeping up on your cardio and endurance. You learn a lot about your body after 2 hours of racing.
Yeah, and definitely if you get out and hit the trails, the upside is you get tired. I mean, I know we go riding when we can, and there's a big difference between riding out on trails, riding at the parks and whatnot than racing. Because riding out there, we stop, chit chat, bullshit, go to different spots and run different things. It's all fun. I will say racing is definitely a lot safer than going to the parks. Because at least when we've had it happen a couple times. Heck, I rear-ended him the one day just because somebody came flying over a hill blind and there wasn't enough room. We ended up locking them up, sliding off the side. That generally doesn't happen in a race.
Yeah.
You never have to worry about traffic coming at you. So I feel racing is actually safer. It is going to beat you up, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
but it is safer. Definitely, flex bars have been a lifesaver.
Yep.
From riding last year, changing the springs on the front end to make them a little bit softer, after the one race we've done with them, it has been a lot better.
Yep. Once again, guys, you don't have to have the most powerful machines. Again, ride a machine you're comfortable with. If you have a TRX 250, a Blaster 200, if you want to ride a YFZ 450, go for it, but just make sure you're comfortable with it. Also, make sure you're kind of narrow. We have +2 A-arms. The narrower your quad is, the better you're going to be, because some of the turns and tight sections and technical stuff, it's pretty narrow. Yeah,
some of it gets pretty narrow. Now the +2s don't affect us too much, because I would say the only thing you want to make sure is your front is just a little bit more out than your back. Rims, I changed my rim size right at the beginning of the season to go to a 4-to-1 instead of the 3-to-2.
Yep.
I liked it way better. Now he's joined that boat.
Yep. My first race was with the 4+1s was last weekend, and yeah, I should have done these right from the get-go. Just having the wheelbase closer in together makes it a lot better. Yeah. It just makes it a lot more enjoyable in the turns and technical
definitely
sections.
Take that piece with you, because the rims aren't cheap, and we bought all the rims last year and then ended up buying different rims.
Yeah.
So try to stay as narrow as you can, but as I said, just make sure your front tire is a little bit out, a little bit more than your rear, because that way if your front gets through, you know the rear is going to make it.
Yeah. So make sure your brakes are good. Make sure you're keeping up on maintenance after every single race. Check all your tie rods, check all your bolts, your nuts. If you got to tear all your plastics off and check everything, do it, because if you're out there and your chain breaks, you're done for the race.
Yeah.
If something breaks on a turn, you're going for one hell of a ride.
Yeah, and I'm a very big advocate of after I wash my bike, I treat my chain every time. Got my own special chain cleaner, chain lube, chain protector, run all that. This year I've started doing the cables.
Yep.
Definitely a lot better. I highly recommend getting the tool. It's a pain to take your cables off to spray them, but it's definitely beneficial. Yeah, for sure.
Couple other things too is, if you're doing your first race, just take your time. The main goal on your first race, and this is what everyone has told us, and we took it straight to heart, was just finish.
Yeah.
Don't go for points. Don't do anything crazy. Just finish the race.
Yeah, and I'm not big on going for the points anyway. I will be the first to jump off my bike and help or direct traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very big on that. To me, and that's the way people are out there. They see somebody stuck, they'll stop and help them. It happens constantly. And not even trying for points. I took third last year.
Yeah.
Cheaply got third, I would say. I got lucky, and that was just because I was consistent.
Yeah. And then again, guys, consistency is key. Keep up on your machines. Make sure you make it to every race. If you're not balls to the wall, racing, hitting trees, like damaging your quads, that type of stuff. If you just finish every race, it doesn't matter where you place. End of the year points, guys. That's where it comes into place. I mean, you can finish every single race in 8th place and still come second and third in final points.
Yeah, because I think my average was 5th place last year. I had 1 third place race and I took third for the year. And I'm not big on, after having to repair the front end that we just built on this, I'm not big on wanting to break more stuff and replace it. So I don't recommend, just don't ride beyond what you're capable. Like literally, guys. It's better to take your time and go than to have to replace something. It's not fun either.
So on the trails, guys, on the races, just take your time. Don't push yourself. I mean, it's 2 hours. You know, some of the races are in 90-degree weather, and it can take a toll on you. Your body declines within the first lap, and you're basically just trying to make it to the end, and it's no fun.
I cannot tell you how many people go crazy first lap, and you see them parked on the side just because they're completely beat. Just trying to catch their breath and get back to where they can go again. It's a marathon, not a race, really. I mean, you take your time, be consistent throughout it. If you want to go crazy, by all means, but I would recommend waiting towards the end. Maybe that hour and a half mark, then go crazy, have fun. But I wouldn't do it off the rip because you will burn yourself out quick.
Making sure you keep a few spare parts on your truck or trailer. Make sure you have backups. You know, we're in a community where if somebody needs something, they'll have it or bring a spare up. I mean, that's just the way the racing community is sometimes. If you need a spare tire or spare this or that, you know, someone's bound to have it because we all break stuff and we all have spare parts.
I haven't put a lot of my spare parts in, but I got extra cables, extra chains. Obviously, I don't have an extra piston. That ain't gonna do us no good. We blow the motor, you pretty much can count yourself out for that. But I mean, we've had people do valve covers day before, day of a race, and get out there and race. It happens. Having spare gaskets and everything can save you quite a bit, as long as you don't got to tear the whole motor apart. Because then, it gets to be a problem.
And take what you learn on the track, guys, to keep a mental note of certain things. If you think you're taking a corner too slow and you're recording yourself, go back, rewatch it, say, hey, how can I improve on this? If you have somebody else who's a good racer or rider, get advice from them. It doesn't hurt. Don't go out there thinking that you're the best out there. Take advice. Any advice you can get definitely helps. Doesn't matter who it's from.
Everyone will be quick to tell you different ways of taking turners, where you position yourself on the turn, and a lot of the information is definitely handy that we've learned. The hardest part for me is putting it into practice. Like once you get out there, you might forget a couple turns, or there's quite a few different. The other thing that shocked me, I've never been big on my front brakes. I've always used my rears. Now I'm using my fronts more, a lot more than my rears. Just because you can bring that nose down in them turns to hammer it out.
A few other things too, guys. If you are going out there, make sure you have someone with you to do pit stops with gas. If you're by yourself, you're able to sit the can off to the side of the track, but with these racing, timing's everything. It doesn't matter about position, it's timing. If you do 2 good laps and 1 bad one, and the guy who's in front of you does 2 bad ones and 1 good one, odds are you're going to be in front of them. It's all about time, guys.
And then make sure you turn your gas on. We've had people fail to start at a race because they just didn't have their gas on.
And make sure your battery's charged too, and your battery's in good shape. That's a big one. Check your equipment before the race, a couple days before. Just go over everything.
And the sooner you check it, because I do a lot of my checks right after a race, so we got about a month till the next one. Because if I need to get something, I got to order it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be day of the race, and there's a lot of them that end up being day of the race. That's where it becomes important going over your bike.
Yep. I mean, honestly, racing is really fun. We've enjoyed it. We're still going to enjoy it. But I mean, we're just out there for the fun, guys. If you want to go out there and go for position and points and all that, go for it. But just be careful, because you got a lot of people out there gunning for points.
Especially in our class. We got a lot of fast people. They're all competing for right through fourth.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm quick to let anybody by. I don't care.
Yeah. But also don't get intimidated by other quads you see out there. If you see someone with like the best quad, with the best graphics and sponsors and all that, it doesn't matter. If that person didn't lube up their chain or didn't do something the night before and they break down, guess what? You're going around them and you're getting those points.
Just about every race, there is a bunch of them that break. And some worse than others. We've had them lose the entire exhaust.
Oh yeah.
The whole rear end, guy lost his entire axle.
Yeah.
Carrier was bad, and that's where that maintenance, look at it, check it.
Yeah.
He could have saved himself, and he did it literally 20 minutes in.
Yeah. So maintenance is key, guys. I mean, that's a big part. Just make sure you get a good night's rest. Pack everything the night before. Do the head, shoulders, knees, and toes. That's what we're taught is make sure you got your helmet, shoulder pads, your shirt, pants, socks, boots. If you need knee braces, bring those. Your gloves, do that every night. Yeah,
and the gloves are probably the biggest savior of all the gear we wear. Like, just because I know my grips, on the last race, I ended up doing maybe 10 minutes without my gloves on. I ripped my fingers right up because my grips are real grippy. So gloves, definitely.
For those races you're going to do in the wet, make sure you have some sort of like covering. I forgot what they call them, like the mud guards or mud covers or something.
Yeah, the mittens that go over your handlebar. Yeah, it's just some handlebar mittens, which we've seen them use on the rainy days, and our first race, it was snowing. So, I mean, it shouldn't have been, but it was.
Yeah, and then the last race of the first season at Hollyoaks, that was just a mud fest.
There was no rain.
Yeah, it was cold.
His poncho was hilarious. It didn't make it a lap.
No, it ripped. First corner ripped down the leg, and I was just soaking wet and cold, but the adrenaline during the race kept me warm. And
yeah, I think the worst part was just waiting for it to start.
Yeah.
And same when it's hot. I mean, you're generally in a field. If you got somebody to hold an umbrella for you, congrats.
Oh, yeah.
It gets hot just standing there, especially in all your gear.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, the biggest thing is just make sure you're prepared for it. Do your homework. Walk the track.
Yeah, if you can walk it.
Make sure you got all the safety stuff you need. Maintenance on your quads, look everything over. What else? I mean,
just do it and get your feel for it.
Yeah, and just don't go out there go crazy, guys.
Yeah, don't go out there trying to compete. Go out there, the only person you should be competing is yourself.
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
If you make it through the first race, be proud of yourself.
Yeah,
not many people do make it through the first one.
Not a lot of people make their first race.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I was close. I had a couple tires. My first race.
Yeah, your chain bound up.
My chain came off.
Yep.
And after the first race, I learned what caused it and did an upgrade, so it prevented from the future. But we also had people on the side. Shout out to Chris.
Yeah.
Helped me put my chain back on.
Yep.
It just popped off. It didn't break. But I mean, after that first race, I knew how to prevent it from the future and keep up on your chain maintenance.
We ended up finding quite a few because it ended up being the carry or your swing arm bushing.
Yeah.
We found that out later on.
Yeah.
But he fixed the chain coming off, and then it was just literally grabbing the quad and seeing back and forth.
Yeah.
And we found he needed carrier bushings, which was wild because they were brand new.
Yeah. But I mean, I've had issues with the swing arm for many races now, so I still do. It's just the way the machine is. I don't know what happened in its past life, but it's just the way it is. But we're gonna keep rolling with it anyway.
Eventually we'll figure it out and fix it.
Eventually.
Or he's just gonna lose his whole rear end out on the track, swing arm and everything.
Yep.
But I think we got it pretty solid now, hopefully.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
It was, what, three swing arms later.
Yeah.
We finally think we got it hashed out, hopefully. I'm not gonna promise anything, but.
Yeah, I mean, after each race you do, you kind of figure out what's the next upgrade you need, you know, stuff like that. You don't have to get brand new stuff. Speak to other riders. They have a bunch of used parts for sale, guys. Hit them up. Speak to a lot of people. Don't just look at something and say, hey, that's what I'm gonna get. Get everyone's feedback. Get everyone's, you know.
Yeah, the
like
universal one is always going to be suspension.
Yeah.
And suspension, it comes down to like your handlebars, the flex bars, or your Mosi, whatever you really like. I prefer the flex bars, so I'll stick with them. A steering stabilizer and your shocks. That is the best thing you can do for it. And this machine's stock. Aside of that, only thing done to it is suspension. And I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I won't upgrade it till I blow it up.
Yep. No, especially in the rough terrain, shocks are, I think, the first upgrade anyone says to do. It doesn't matter what machine you have, shocks. Best thing you can do for any type of racing.
Yeah. I think pretty much covered.
Yeah.
Either way, we're looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yep.
For sure. Couple things to work out for me, I know that.
Yeah.
Just bike-wise, different changes I'm gonna make.
And speaking of like first-time racing and stuff like that, we're actually planning on doing our first GNCC race.
When are we doing that?
Come September in Ohio. It's the round 12 John Penton. GNCC will be our first GNCC race. We've heard it's a ton of fun. Then again, it's going to be our first GNCC race. So we're going to apply the same stuff we just taught you guys today. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Maintenance.
I'll be happy to get dead last.
If you finish the GNCC race, that's a big accomplishment. We've heard some stories and seen some videos.
And this one isn't supposed to be too bad, but they're all going to be a little rough.
Yeah. It depends. They say if it rains, it's going to be slick, but there's no challenging hills or anything like that. And then, depending how this one goes, might do Ironman in Indiana.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
That's a real big one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to do that one.
I mean, we might just
He might drag me there.
I mean, we might just go to it to hang out, but depends on how the one in Ohio goes. We might actually race that one too, but you'll see.
Yeah.
I've heard Ironman Hill is no joke. So we're gonna see, but we got a bunch of other people from MOXC coming to join us, so at least we'll have a big group with us.
Yeah, we won't be alone out there.
Yeah.
But
and that's pretty much gonna wrap it up, guys. If you have any questions about racing tips, tricks,
let us know. I need all the help I can get.
We've really enjoyed it. We hope this video helps you guys out. Just from personal experience, we haven't seen any videos like this out on YouTube per se. I mean,
No.
it'll pretty much help everyone. Take our advice, don't take it. Learn from it, don't learn from it.
Yeah, doesn't matter to us. But get out there and race is the big thing.
Yep, just go out there, guys, and have fun.
I promise you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And one race, you probably be hooked.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
almost
addicting.
guarantee. Any questions, feel free, hit the comments. We do look at them every now and then.
Yep.
We don't like swarm them, but we do look at them every now and then.
Yeah. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can keep up to date on future videos. Go through our channel. We have a bunch of videos with us riding MOXC, so you get to have a little taste of what XC racing is all about.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they're all highlight reels. We got too many cameras to put.
Yeah.
If it's a 2-hour race and we each have 4 hours worth of footage.
Yeah, it's
just on our own. It's summarized,
yeah.
but you'll see all the good parts.
Yep.
And the bad parts. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, racing's dangerous, so.
I don't think it's dangerous. I think riding in a park's more dangerous by far.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with that.
This is true. But on that note, guys, thanks for tuning in today.